We all know Joe Biden has been facing pressure since he's been elected to do something about student loans. The only thing that you've heard from Joe Biden about doing anything about student loans was with regard to the fake universities or the fraud universities over the years that actually delivered something that people was not expecting, which was bad results, which we know that bad results has been coming for a long time from people that's been getting basket weaving degrees, but people like that guy that was on a commercial that was on that ITT Tech. You know, you ain't doing nothing with your life. Why don't you? We know that Biden has went through the process of trying to get most of the people that went to those universities forgiven from any kind of financial liability with regard to student loans if they went to those specific universities. But we're not seeing that across the board. So what's going on? It's Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. This is a report by CNBC that's come across my desk, specifically highlighting how the White House is considering $10,000 in student loan forgiveness for borrowers who make under $125,000. Lots of things wrong with it right from the outset. First thing that we can identify is they're still going to be coming with pitchforks no matter what it is that he does, because unless it's $50,000 or more, people are not having it. Secondly, a lot of you are not going to qualify, which makes it unfair also because it's for people who make under $125,000. Third, the people that's having problems paying down their student loans owe a lot more than $10,000 on a student loan. So let's just go ahead and dive into the subject, and then let's have a conversation so I can break down exactly why it won't matter what he does or if he forgives or anything like that. And for a lot of you that's been holding out for a long time, you're going to be trying to, I guess, get under a certain amount so that you can get $10,000 taken off. And listen, I'm not price insensitive, right? I know that $10,000 is a lot, but at the same time, I also know that a lot of you took out these loans understanding that you was going to have to pay it back. And it wasn't that you didn't know any better. It's that you don't fully, embrace the idea that you have to be personally responsible for anything that you do, regardless of whether they forgive it or not. But let's continue. The White House is considering a plan to forgive $10,000 in student debt for borrowers who make less than $125,000. So now my first question is this adjusted gross income? Is this just W-2 earnings? Could you own a business and then, you taking losses on that specific business? Is this just 1 year worth of tax returns? How does this work, right? Because no matter what you do, it's going to be unfair to somebody and somebody's going to complain. And then the people that complain the most are the ones that's going to get the $10,000 taken off, but they was hoping for 50. But let's continue. Biden administration has promised to make a decision on student loan forgiveness by the end of August, when monthly loan payments are scheduled to resume after being paused for over 2 years as part of a pandemic era relief. It still remains uncertain how the administration will proceed, if at all, with loan cancellation. So here's my prediction, right? Because Biden, again, has been promising for a long time to address this. And then at the same time, he had released a statement a little while back. I did a whole show on it about how he said, listen, y'all need to prepare to start paying y'all stuff back. People paused the pandemic era relief funds. Then went and got their PPP loans. And then they still didn't pay it. They didn't pay it while the interest was gone and none of that. And so what you see is habits from people that is normal. People are going to do the thing that they believe makes them feel the best, which was one of the reasons why they found themselves in this position to have to deal with the student loan issue in the first place. A, you either took the easy road out, or B, you just did it because you thought it was free money, or C, you didn't give a F either way and you was going to do what it is that you was going to do. And now you're being influenced by whether or not you're going to vote on somebody based off of your own mistakes and issues. But let's continue. An extension of the payment pause is also on the table. Of course it is. And the federal student loan servicers have been instructed to hold off on sending out any payment reminders to borrowers. Basically, if you log in and your student loan is serviced by any of these servicers, they saying, yo, don't make any announcements yet because we're waiting to find out what the White House is going to do. And they're waiting up until the last minute, which is basically it's the end of the month now, to figure out whether or not they're going to forgive anything at all. And if they do, who's going to be affected by it and how much you got to make in order to be able to stand to that threshold. Resuming payments without preparing borrowers could cause more delinquency rates to spike, experts have warned. And what do they care? The servicer of the loan is the ones that's getting that bag. The country's outstanding student loan debt, not the country's, the individuals, exceeds 1.7 trillion, with 40 million Americans in debt for their education. Before the pandemic, when the economy was in one of the healthiest periods, some 10 million borrowers were still behind on their payments. So it don't matter. Let me tell you what's going to happen. Even if people get their stuff relieved, they still not going to be able to thrive because it's a mentality that comes along with winning. And when you're a winner, you find a way to get stuff done. And most of the people that I know, first of all, a lot of them that I coach is making well over $125,000. So they're not tripping anyway. And secondly, they just went ahead and dealt with it. And they took advantage of the idea that a lot of other people was running in the Victim Olympics, and they decided to pay theirs off while there was no interest on the payments to save themselves money anyway. So the responsible people are already going to be responsible. And it's not about whether or not you had been making your payments. It's about whether or not you're taking advantage of the opportunities that's in front of you. Since the campaign trail, President Biden has put his support behind $10,000 in student loan forgiveness. I thought it was more than that. He said he was going to address this on day one. While his competitors to the left, Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, trash, unelectable, vowed to cancel more. Bernie Sanders is so egregious that this dude was trying to find the airline industry. What a idiot. Vowed to cancel more. Warren pledged to cancel $50,000 for most borrowers. See, told you. And Sanders to eliminate all of the debt. So it didn't matter if you went and got a basket weaving degree. It didn't matter how much you ran up. It didn't matter what your current circumstances. Sanders was like, listen, let's just go ahead and get a bill to all the taxpayers, because truly what's going to happen is what happens now. Inflation goes out of control. Somebody's going to have to pay for it. The government is going to... the debt and issues don't just go away. Somebody has to take that brunt. Somebody has to bear the responsibility of it. And usually who does? One way or another, some secretly underhanded way, the middle class are the ones that catch the L. I seen a comment with somebody telling me that despite how much money that I make, that the way that the government going now and how much things are going as far as inflation and the cost of things, that even I would be considered at some point, I'm going to be the new middle class because of how much it's going to cost for you to be able to be successful. That's pretty funny. The Washington Post has also reported that the White House is leaning towards $10,000 in cancellation. Meanwhile, the administration has looked at ways of eliminating the relief to certain earners to quell criticism that student debt forgiveness is a handout to more well-off Americans. Under intense pressure to cancel more than $10,000, including from groups like the Victim Olympics. I'm sorry. The NAACP and lawmakers such as Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, Democrat of New York, Wisdom Cole, National Director of the NAACP's Youth and College Division, recently said on Twitter that nixing just $10,000 would be like a slap in the face. See, I'm telling you, it don't matter what you give people. If you say $10,000, if you say $20,000, if it's not the whole shebang, they're going to be like, listen, you might as well have not even promised it at all, or shouldn't have. This is the problem. They should never promise you anything. Don't make any promises except for what you're going to actually do. Because then if you don't over deliver, they still going to spit on you, and they're not going to think that you're a good president anyway. What have you done for me lately? That's basically the narrative. At the same time, sweeping student loan forgiveness will also likely anger some Americans, including those who never borrowed for their education and was responsible. They worked their way through school. They took care of business. Y'all ain't got to feel no type of way. Y'all ain't have to feel no type of way. And the reason you don't have to feel no type of way is because those that run in the Victim Olympics, they still going to be in it no matter what gets forgiven or not. You are winning because you are proactive, not reactive to what's going on in society, and you don't have to beg anybody to be able to forgive your stuff. You just take it on the chin. Whatever it is that come with it, you own it. Several Republicans have said they will try to block an effort by the president to cancel the debt. Recently called the student loan forgiveness a giveaway to highly educated college grads. Overall, the majority of voters, 62%, support student loan forgiveness. Sorry about that. Overall, 62% support student loan forgiveness. And of course they are, because the majority of people are running in the Victim Olympics. White House officials did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Developing story, check back later. All right, so basically what we seeing is the White House is making a decision within a couple days. And Anton from AntonDaniels.com is going to be on top of that. I'm going to keep y'all up to date. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications. And then if you have not already, make sure you subscribe to the Patreon so you ain't got to run in the Victim Olympics. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. We not begging nobody for nothing. We going to go and get ours, all right? I love you. I appreciate you. Make sure you stay focused. If you need to get in touch with me and do a personal call or whatever, email me at antondaniels413@gmail.com. Again, that's antondaniels413@gmail.com, and we're going to get you taken care of. I love you. I appreciate you. Let me go take care of my business so I'm no longer ever even having a conversation about running in the Victim Olympics. I don't like that junk.